demographics vary across the board, and we're proud of that.
And you talked about how your demographics like vary and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What would be like an example of that? So like at what particular point of the day?
Oh,
are
okay. You have. It depends on your programming. Some programming is more male dominated. Some is more female. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on the certain types of certain.
Is there a trend where there's like a peak time that has like a certain demographic for a certain audience, or is it just consistent all the way around?
Yeah, no, I mean, sports you're going to get,
right?
You know, and some newscast times more male, but we have a large female demographic as well too.
Is there a certain reason for that, or?
When you look at any programming, you can separate demographics. Mm-hmm. You know, it just depends. Like, for instance, and it not necessarily on CBS 8, but if you have like a wrestling versus an Oprah, you know, the days of Oprah Winfrey, right. You're going to get, your demographics are going to vary.
So the stories that you put out, are they specifically targeted towards a different audience, or is just whatever's breaking right now?
Right. We combine, if you're talking about news, we like to do a multi kind of programming approach. Definitely news and breaking news. We're on top of that.
Right.
But we like to do informational stories, you know, and we'll do features too. So we'll at CBS News 8 you're going to get the broad spectrum.
Okay.
But definitely, I mean, if you're producing, and we'll talk a little bit more when I give you the tour, when you're producing news, you're going to be on top of your breaking news. That's what San Diegans want, and the most relevant stories of the day. And what I think we do the best out of anybody is we will break down those stories. We'll dig a little deeper. We'll give you different angles, or different, I should say, elements to a story. You know, it may be a hard news story, but there may be a human interest side behind that.
Yeah. So based on your ratings from like the beginning, I don't know if you know 65 years back or just whenever you started, how do the ratings compare from now to then?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I will be here, oh my gosh, next week it'll be my 30th year here.
Oh,
and you definitely see trends. When I first started, definitely the leader, definitely. Then you saw periods, I'll give you an example. CBS in the morning. Network CBS show never did well. Always third or fourth in the ratings for 20 some years.
Wow.
Now with Gayle King, Charlie Rose, Nora O'Donnell, it's the number one. I never thought in my history here I would see the CBS Morning News being number one. We've been very blessed at the station. When I start number one across the board in news, then there was a time where Channel 10 had Oprah Winfrey, and we kind of took a little, you know, we were never below number two, but it got really competitive between KGTV and us, and there was a time where we would be just fighting it out. They would be number one. The last 2 years, we have been dominant across the board, number one in every newscast.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's a combination of three things. I think, number one, in terms of news director has really kind of come up from the ranks and sort of retooled the newscasts. Number two, strong CBS programming, and also syndicated programming. Your programming going into your news. We're, like I said, we're a CBS affiliate, so we air CBS shows in prime time or early morning. But you have the option as a station to purchase syndicated programming, which generally airs from 3 to 5 in what we call access, 7 to 8 before prime hits on the West Coast. So we have strong syndicated programming. We have Judge Judy, who has just done wonders for us, and promotion and marketing. And I think our interactive has helped too. I think because we so promote, whatever is on the news, we promote to web, and vice versa. And I think that synergy has helped as well too. So it's a really team effort.
That's good.
It's not just one area. I think it's just the combination of great, strong CBS programming, strong syndicated programming, strong news programming, strong marketing, promotion, interactive.
So is there go ahead.
Yeah, no.
So is there a difference between like the programming you do on TV rather than your news or your radio stations?
Yes, totally separate.
Okay.
And they're totally run separately.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So like
yes.
the audience
I
may
mean,
be different also.
There may be times where on TV we'll cover something in radio, or we'll do outreach projects together. Or for instance, Mike Slater, who's on the AM 760, he always does a hit every in our 11 a.m. newscast, so there's cross promotion, but our programming is totally separate, and different sales departments, different programming departments.
Okay.
I have one more question. You mentioned earlier that your CBS 8 doesn't have a Twitter.
Yes, we do.
Okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
I heard you say that you guys don't tweet.
No, we totally tweet.
Oh,
No,
okay.
what I said is, as journalists, no, I said we use Twitter.
Oh, okay.
But as journalists, and it's a really important lesson for people coming in, is you have to know how to use it and to be able to discern what is news and what is not. But yeah, we tweet all the time. And CBS News 8 has a Twitter.
What other media platforms do you have other than just Twitter and like Facebook and social media and things like that?
Everything. Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then could you just briefly introduce like your background, what your position is,
Sure.
your responsibilities?
Yeah.
You already touched on that you're going to be here up for 30
30
years
years,
now,
right.
which is awesome.
I started as I started in a show years ago called PM Magazine. You guys are way too young to know. And it was like a field producer. And what a field producer does is, and kind of a coordinating producer, the field producer, like a reporter, and I'll tell you a little bit more when we go in the newsroom. Reporter goes out, interviews people, sets up stories, interviews people, photographer shoots it, then the reporter is responsible for logging the tape, writing the story, and handing the script to the editor to cut it. So that's kind of how I started. Then I produced a live morning talk show called Sun Up San Diego, which was great. And then it's really cool because I pretty much have produced every form at a television station.
That's awesome.
Then I've produced news. For years, I was in the news department as a special projects producer, and also I was head of special projects and investigation. So did that. I am also a programming producer. Right now, my official title is Community Services Director, which what I'm responsible for is creating projects, outreach projects for the station, working with the community. I have a project with UC San Diego that I created called Innovate 8. It's to inspire kids in STEM learning, and UC San Diego is our partner along with San Diego County Office. So within these projects, I have to produce spots, news stories, outreach, web, pages, everything. And like I said, I'm also a programming producer, so I do specials for the station. Right now, I'm working on a lifestyle show for the station, which will feature our anchors, and we have a contract with Chargers, so I'm going to be working on 2 Chargers Unplugged half-hour shows, specials for the Chargers. So I'm really lucky. I mean, and again, I've produced every format. I've produced live, I've produced newscasts, I do news stories, spots, shows, so I'm pretty lucky.
Do you have a favorite?
I love producing stories and shows. I mean, to me, the creativity to be able to put the words together.
Yeah, and see everything unfold.
Yeah, I just ended up producing a 5-minute corporate video for JDRF, you know, so I just love writing and producing. Yeah.
What exactly got you motivated here when you first started up here?
It's the creativity. It's so funny. I was telling Shirley, right, that I started as a teacher. I had a minor in journalism and thought I was going to teach my whole life, and I'm really old, so Proposition 13 at the time came through and I was laid off. I only had 3 years and got laid off, and I was like, now what am I going to do? Because I didn't want to sub.
Right.
But I had a minor in journalism, so I thought, okay, let me see where that takes me. Got an internship and immediately loved it. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do, because the creativity is just off the charts. Every day is different. It's like, I mean, you never look at your watch and go, oh gosh, 3 hours till I go home. It's like, I only have 3 hours to get this done. I could use 5 more hours, and every day is different. The people I've met, the deadlines, the creativity, and always being the job producing is the same, but yet it's different because technology totally dictates what you do, and it's such a different world, So, yeah, I would say creativity, deadlines, and just every day is different. It's just appealing.
Exciting, yeah.
And then, if you could describe yourself in 10 years, are you still here? Are you still working for this
No, I'll
company?
probably be retired in 10 years. But gosh, I hope I'll still be able to. Yeah, I mean, I would still love to create.
Okay.
But I've been blessed. I mean, who can say they've been in this business?
Absolutely.
Who are the other main executives that help run the station?
Our general manager, VP, is Pat Nevin. He's in charge of television and radio. Our executive news director is Dean Elwood. He's in charge of the entire news division. We have Gina Landau, is a female, is in charge of radio. Scott Dillon's our sales manager, our general sales manager.
Okay, and then last question, unless anybody else wants to jump in. If somebody who's interested in following the same career path, what type of recommendations would you have for them?
Internships. You know what? First of all, there's what I say for you guys and young people. It's exciting. When I first started, you got the whole thing. Well, you're gonna have to start out in a small market, and I tell my interns and everybody, no, there's so many opportunities. Look at how many state channels are on the airways. You could, and I always say, I tell my interns, start in a big company where you can move up. People want young people. I mean, start at a company where you get programmers. They want people running studios or young. They want young people. Internships, because you find out what you like, you make your connections. It's a small world, and it's all about networking, and so you have to do internships. I would say, depending if you want to go into news, they're great. You don't necessarily have to go to broadcasting school. We have two of our best reporters, Carla Cicchetto and Marcella Lee. They're both anchors, reporters. They were both business majors. Okay. Marcella was University of Michigan. Yeah, Carla was USC. But they loved it. They got internships. They took other classes. They're great journalism schools, though, obviously, too. But internships and get your experience. What I will say, the other thing, if you do want more production side of it, you may have your degree and go, gosh, this is really interesting to me. How can I get some additional experience in addition to interning? Locally, community colleges have great programs that you could go hop in and take a couple, courses. Palomar City, they have great live newscast programs, great editing programs, and also technology changes. So you may have a degree and go, okay, now, shoot, I spent 4 years, maybe I want to do something else. There's always ways you can supplement what you do. And also, editing-wise, we edit news edits on Sony, production edits on Final Cut, Adobe Premiere. It's everything you guys kind of know. It's Mac-based. And
so why an internship rather than like a part-time job?
Your internships will get you in while you're going to school. Because sometimes there aren't always part-time jobs.
True.
And why not get your experience when you're in school and make your connection, so then hopefully you can get a job by the time you're out of school.
Anybody else have any other questions?
Okay, let's see, it's 5:10. I'm going to just buzz you. I'm going to take you around to a little bit of the tour.